Well, they continue to say in that meeting today that everything's on track, it's all ready to go, everything's on track. If it is, why are we delaying the verification for another year? If everything is so hunky-dory on track and everything's moving ahead, then we shouldn't have to be delaying verification, which is an essential tenet of this legislation. If you can't verify the various criteria that's been set out by the law, how can you enact the law? So, no, I don't have a lot of confidence in much of anything that they say, and you've got to know your stuff when you go to these hearings, because they can say things, and unless you have documentation to be able to come back and say, well, let me read you what's in these rules or regulations or whatever they put out, unless you can read that to them and say, hey, this is what it says, you can't trust what they're saying, do you?
So they're delaying the entire verification process.
Yeah, the verification process, and then now they're saying, okay, attestation, so I can just attest that that's what is proper. So what this Mr. Chow said today, and I didn't get a chance to go back and confirm this with him, but if you go back and listen to the tape, essentially what he's saying is that they will get approved, and then they'll go back, and try to do some verification after the fact. Well, if that's what you're going to do, there's going to be a whole lot of fraud out there. And the Wall Street Journal actually has done a little statistical, mathematical calculation to say it could be up to $25 billion a year.
In fraud.
In fraud.
And waste.
Yeah. So, does that bring the cost of healthcare down? Because what's going to happen when that happens is that the taxpayers who are doing the right thing and trying to follow the rules, their insurance will go up in order to subsidize those people that are on it without being eligible.
How about the privacy concerns for Americans? Is the federal government going to have access to those digitized health records containing their personal information, even if they don't have Obamacare?
That was part of my question today, and of course with just 5 minutes of time, it's hardly really enough to go back. It's not enough time to dig deeply enough to feel like you're getting a really good answer. This is part of the reason why I've asked my oversight, my Ways and Means oversight, to have someone come in to actually show us how is this going to work. What does this data hub look like? Who gets access to it? How can we assure that those who have access to it have background checks and that there's confidentiality? All those questions are yet to be answered in my mind. I don't think the 600-page rules that they put out showed me anything that I can be totally confident that we're going to protect people's information, and the most sensitive information about our finances and our health care are going to be protected. We never got to talk about navigators today, which is a whole nother situation. So I'm not confident at this point in time that I could say to my constituency, oh, don't worry, the information that's being collected is going to be secure.